What's poppin'? Do you want to know how to create tents in Fortnite Creative? Or do you want to know how to get them? Well, they're currently not in Fortnite Creative. I will hope they will come soon. But until then, there is a very easy way on how to create them. I'm going to show you exactly how to do them today. Alright, so this is how it looks like in Fortnite Creative. You can store your items, you can receive your items, basically the same thing as in BR. So we can store our Stinger SMG and we can also get the Stinger SMG back. It's a pretty simple concept. You can do this with basically any guns that you want to put into that system. For example, we can take all of these 3 guns here, store them all in there, and we can get them all back. We can just remove this gun, we can store them, and we can get these 2 back. Let me show you how you can do this. So to recreate this, we basically only need 3 items, with the 4th one being optional if you have the save device. So basically, if you can use it, if you have a publishing rights, you can use the save device, but it's not needed to create the system at all. So the main items we need are the item granter, the conditional button, and a normal button. Alright, so the system looks a little bit complicated from here, but it's actually super simple. It's a very simple ID system, and the first thing that we need are conditional buttons. And in these first conditional buttons, we're gonna put each and every single gun that we have in our map and that we want people to store in our tents. And we want to put them in there. Don't double guns in the conditional buttons. Each gun needs 1 conditional button for themselves. In these conditional buttons, you can see there's not a lot of settings that you need to change. Actually, the only 2 settings that we need to change is activate when receiving from. We put that to a custom channel, and this channel needs to be the same throughout every single one of our gun conditional buttons. The next setting in here is the when activated transmit on. So that means as soon as we activate this item, we want to send a signal. This channel needs to be custom to each and every single one. So you can see this is channel 2, this is channel 3, this is channel 4. From here on, we're going to move to our first set of item granters, and these ones will be actually the ones that give us the ID for each and every single one of our guns. So for example, I linked up the pistol here with the animal bones. I linked the lever action with this rough or whatever it's called, and then this other thing, which is the Stinger SMG with this like, I don't know, what is that even called? It is called the rough metal powder. Each of these guns now has an ID. These IDs we're going to put in item granters, and the item granters also have very simple settings. On grant action, keep all. That is very important, otherwise you will basically delete your inventory every time you're going to submit an item or receive an item. The next thing is we're going to give them custom channels, and you can see these channels are the exact same ones that we put in here. So channel 2 is channel 2. We're going to have animal bones for the pistol. We're going to have the rough ore for the lever action, and so on. Whatever, how many guns you have, you need to have custom consumables for each and single one. You can see you have a lot of consumables, so that you shouldn't run out of consumables, even if you have a lot of guns. And now our system is halfway done. We actually now create the storing system. So we're going to actually give a gun away, but we cannot receive the gun yet, or we can get it back. For the receiving system, or the getting the items back system, we actually need to do the exact opposite of what we just did. We now need a conditional button for each and single one of the IDs that we just created. So we need an ID for our pistol, we need an ID for our lever action, and one for the stinger. We're just going to have almost the same settings in here. Ignore this first setting, I just played around with it, but there's no meaning to it. We're going to have an activate when receiving from. We need to have that on the same channel again, same channel on each and single one of these items here. And then we need a custom channel for these as well. So you need to have different channels here. Make sure they're not already used in any of your map. And then we're going to go the same thing. The item grant is now going to give us the pistols back. So for example, in here we have channel 6, keep all, very important, otherwise you will delete. This is the default. Clear inventory is not good, so make sure it's to keep all. Grant item when receiving from channel 6 is linked up with this one, and we can get our items back. You can see that they're all linked up here perfectly fine. So the last and final step is going to create a button which will allow us to store items and receive the items back. So for the first button, to store the items, we obviously need to have a custom interaction text which says store items, which makes a lot of sense. And the channel that we need to have in here is channel 1. The reason for that is because obviously if we go into our conditional buttons, we can see activate when receiving from channel 1. So if we have each of these guns in our inventory and we want to store this, we can actually do that exactly with this, just one button here. And then we also need a button to obviously receive the items back. So we have received stored items, visible during game, obviously to none. We don't want to see the button. Make sure that there's a reasonable interaction radius here. And then channel 5, which is the same channel as in our conditional button here. So you can see this is not hard at all. It's a very simple system. And in effect, you just need a tent. You can use whatever tent you can find. You can build your own custom ones. If you want to use the exact same tent that I used, I think it's in the Craggy Cliffs prop gallery. You just have to open it, scroll a little bit down, you can find it down here. And now you can see how this actually works. We can store our items, we get all of our ID chips, you can say, and if we receive the items back, the IDs are gone and we have the guns back. And that's been it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to use code RichieTunes in the item shop. It really helps. And I will see you guys back in the next one. Bye.